So today I want to ask you, what actually motivates you as a footballer? Is it the fame, the cars, the money? Is it the fact that you want to provide for your family? Is it the fact that some people said you will never make it and you thrive off that hate because you want to prove them wrong so bad? And I ask this question because I want to say in this vid today that there's never a right or wrong reason as to why you want to become a footballer, as to what drives you to become a footballer. Because the thing is these days is that if you say that you want to do something, people always get onto you if it's not a quote unquote wholesome thing or ethical thing. You know what I'm saying? People always be like, you know them guys who say, don't go gym to get girls, go gym for yourself and all of that. You know what I'm saying? People always want to hear, the wholesome ethical thing. I go gym for myself, I play football for myself, I try and make money for myself. But the thing is, if you have an ambition of becoming a footballer because you want the money, or you want the fame, or you want the status, you want the notoriety, and even if it doesn't sound, wholesome or ethical, in my opinion, you should never be ashamed of that. You should never be ashamed of what motivates you, and just go for it. Because at the end of the day, if let's say you're motivated by money and you really want to, help your family out, help your mom out, I guess that's wholesome in itself, helping out your family. But let's just say you want to be a footballer purely because of the money. At the end of the day, if that's what drives you, if that's what drives you, get up in the morning, if that's what drives you to go train, work on your body, stick to a diet, do the extra things like recovery work, stretching, if that motivates you to, reach your goals and do what you need to do, then at the end of the day, when you actually reach your goal becoming a pro, who really cares at the end of the day? Who really cares about, what actually drove you, as long as you're there, you understand? So in my opinion, never be ashamed of what motivates you, especially to become a footballer, but even in life in general, just never be ashamed of what actually motivates you. Because like I said, it doesn't really matter. As long as it gets you there, it gets you there, you understand? Maybe once you get to your destination, your desires will change, you understand? Maybe you become a footballer and you realize, alright, cool, it's not really about the money, you know what I'm saying? Then you can say, money's not important. You hear all these, you hear all these rich people say, it's not really about the money, it's just for the love of what I do. But let's be honest, at the start of everything they do, it was probably about the money, you know what I'm saying? They were broke, they were poor, and then they had to, just basically find a way to, provide, you know what I'm saying? But once they got there, then they were like, then they start saying all these wholesome things like, I just, what's it called? It's not really about the money, follow your passion, do all of this. And obviously I think you should do that, but like I said, if you have desires that aren't quote unquote wholesome or ethical, and that's why you want to become a professional footballer, then in my opinion, just go for it. It doesn't really matter. As long as that's the thing that's getting you out of bed in the morning, you shouldn't really be embarrassed about, what people say, how it might sound to people that you want to become a pro because you want to be famous, because you want to get girls, because you want the money, understand? Or maybe because you're thriving purely off of hatred, because people doubted you, people were laughing at you, people were saying you're never gonna make it. And if that drives you, if the hate drives you, then use that hate as fuel to go, you know what I'm saying? Use that fuel as motivation to go. Don't think that you have to, wake up in a good mood and be like, what's it called? I'm doing this for the love of the game, I'm doing this because, be positive all the time. Nah, if you need to use that hatred to, do what you need to do, if that's what propels you to the absolute top, then in my opinion, just use it. Just use that to your advantage. I feel like people today, they criticize people for being quote unquote materialistic, people for grinding hard because they want that Lamborghini. Let's say you want to become a footballer, and one of the reasons you want to become a footballer is because you like driving fast cars, you know what I'm saying? Obviously you love the game, you want to play the game, but obviously in the back of your mind you're probably thinking, yeah, but I'll get to drive, the best cars, buy the best clothes, do all of this. And in my opinion, if that really drives you, if you're really like a car guy and you want to drive, the Ferraris, the Lamborghinis, and you think that being a footballer is the way to do that, then in my opinion, you should just go for it. You know what I'm saying? You shouldn't be, ashamed to admit that. You shouldn't think to yourself, I can't really say that because it doesn't really sound ethical, it doesn't really sound wholesome, it sounds, materialistic. People always be on this sort of spiritual shit nowadays where they're just like, it's all about, doing stuff for you, it's all about doing stuff for your soul and all of that, and that's cool, innit? But in my opinion, even if you want to become a footballer because you see the jewelry that footballers wear, you see the the lifestyle, you know what I'm saying? You see the women that they're with. If that drives you, bro, then in my opinion, you should do that, you understand? Like, I'll take me for example. When I was losing weight, obviously, when you go on a weight loss journey, what's the typical thing you hear? You hear people say, oh, I'm going to do this for me. I don't really care about other people. But for me personally, when I was losing weight, when I was like 13, 14, I remember it was 14 and it was COVID. Bro, before that, I remember in like the PE classes and stuff, anytime we were doing like because obviously in P you got your physical aspect, then you got like the classroom aspect where you have to learn and write stuff. I remember I was getting cooked for being fat in that classroom literally every single time. It got to the point where the PE teachers were getting involved in the jokes, you know what I'm saying? You know it's bad when the PE teachers are cracking jokes about you being fat, you know what I'm saying? And like, it was peak. I remember there was one guy in particular, you know what I'm saying? But pretty much it was just every single time I was getting cooked for being fat. And obviously when COVID happened, I was just like, yo, I'm getting in shape, you know what I'm saying? And initially I was like, yo, I'm getting in shape, you know, to be a better footballer. Obviously that was the goal, you know what I'm saying? That was the main thing. But on them days where I didn't want to go out for a run, I didn't want to go out to train, I always just fall back to them guys who were cooking me in the classroom, and I was just like, yo, fuck them guys, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care if I'm tired today, I'm doing what I need to do, you know what I'm saying? Like, fuck them guys, I'm doing what I need to do. And there'll be most days where, you know what I'm saying, I was just running off of hatred. I was just thinking, yo, when I come back here, or when I get to like a certain point, I might not be fat anymore, and then what are they gonna say after that? You know what I'm saying? What are they gonna say after that? And then I can't like another aspect as well was like, I wanted to get girls, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was, you know, so when you're fat and you're short, bro, it's like you're not getting no things, you know what I'm saying? Guys like that have to overcompensate and that, and I was like, yo, cool. I was running off of hatred because guys were cooking me for being fat in class, and obviously I wanted girls as well. But the main thing obviously was to be a footballer. But when that wasn't motivating me, when I woke up that morning and I was like, oh, I don't really want to do it, it's that hatred that sort of got me up and was like, yo, let's do that, you know what I'm saying? Let's go on a run. Let's work on your technicals. Become an even better player. Increase the gap between you and other players by even more, you know what I'm saying? Even if you are the best player on your team, even if I was the best player on my team, the best player at my squad, I was like, yo, let's increase that gap even further, you know what I'm saying? Let's become so good that, you know what I'm saying, that it hurts them, it pains them, you know what I'm saying? And in my opinion, things like that are a good thing, you know what I'm saying? Because they drive you towards your goal. No matter what happens, they drive you towards your goal. Ultimately, I ended up losing weight, and I ended up getting it done, you know what I'm saying? And right now, to be fair, because I've sort of got to that destination, I don't really, you know, have that hatred anymore, you know what I'm saying? All of that's in the past, bro. Like, and that's what I'm saying. Once you actually get to that destination, it's most likely your desires are going to change anyway. So you don't need to sort of force your desires to be quote unquote positive, because now you know what I'm saying, I've lost the weight, and it's sort of like, alright, cool, I've done it now, and it's sort of a thing where it's like, I don't really have time to be hating on guys. I don't really have time to be, you know, be thinking about what happened back in like year 9 PE class. Like, all of that's in the past, you know what I'm saying? But at the time, when I was in the process of, you know, grinding, digging, I was using that hatred to my advantage to propel me forward on the days where I was feeling lazy. I wasn't really feeling it, you know what I'm saying? On the days where the quote-unquote positive thing to do, the quote-unquote desire of me wanted to become a footballer, wanted to improve myself as a player, when that wasn't motivating me, I had to dig into, you know, my bag of hatred, you know what I'm saying? And I thought that's a good thing. On the days, let's say you want to become a footballer, you know, just the love of the game isn't really motivating you that day, you know what I'm saying? For some reason, you just woke up that day and you're just like, nah, I'm not really feeling it. Think back to those other desires, you know what I'm saying? Even those desires that are quote unquote bad, like your hatred, like being materialistic, for wanting fame, for wanting people to know who you are, for just wanting to be better than a certain person. Maybe for you there's like a certain person in your head, or a few certain guys that are just like, yo, fuck them guys, you know what I'm saying? Like, fuck them guys, I'm gonna grind harder. I'm gonna show them like, yo, I can become a professional footballer, you know what I'm saying? Or whatever goal in football you want to achieve, you know what I'm saying? It can literally be a goal for the season. It can literally be like, yo, I'm gonna be top scorer in my league, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna get to an academy this year. Like, these guys said that I'll never make it to an academy. Alright, cool, let me show them. Or it could be even a case where it's like, yo, This happened to me as well. Maybe you're in school and you see other players, other people in your year group, or other people in the school. They're in academies, and you see them going on academy leaves. They get to leave early some days to go train for the whole day. And maybe you see that and you feel a little bit jealous. You feel a little bit envious. But then guess what? Don't be afraid to tap into that. Don't be afraid to be like, yo, bro, who is it? You see the guy and you're just like, yo, I know I'm better than this guy, bro. Let me go out there and let me work, bro. Let me work 10 times harder than I'm even working right now. On the days, I'm saying, on the days where you go out to train, you just think about that guy. You think about, yo, he's in an academy, but I'm better than him. I know I'm better than him. Let me just use that to, let me just use that as fuel. Let me just use that to drive myself. You know what I'm saying? Let me use this jealousy, that envy, the anger, the hatred. Let me use that to drive myself. You know what I'm saying? That's what you should be saying to yourself. There's no problem with tapping into materialism for motivation, or tapping into negative emotions to really drive you as a footballer. Because I'm telling you, even though they might not say in interviews, the best footballers, something bad happened in their life. You know what I'm saying? Something bad happened. Think about all the best players. Something bad happened that drove them to be the best at what they do. You know what I'm saying? There's always a negative before the positive. Like, we heard about Ronaldo, sweeping sweeping roads. He was so poor, he couldn't really afford food like that. He was sweeping roads. Obviously, you got Messi with like his height deficiency. He had to take growth hormones. Obviously, that was a setback to his career, but he came back even harder. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, guys like Wayne Rooney grew up in like council estate, was dirt poor. You know what I'm saying? There's always like a backstory to it. There's always something that motivates people. It's very rare that you get successful ballers where it's like everything was handed to them on a plate. You know what I'm saying? They grew up rich. Both parents in the household. They can make it to the pro level 100%. They can make it to a good pro level. But I'm talking about the elites of the elites, bro. I'm talking about them South American players, bro, who grew up in poverty, bro. Them Brazilians who grew up in the favelas, bro. Trust me, bro. I know there's a stigma about Brazilians, once they get the money, they sort of fall off, they lose their ways. But bro, when they're on that come up, bro, it's serious business. You know what I'm saying? Because they know that, yo, I'm not doing this for me, but I'm doing this for my family. You know what I'm saying? They remember the days of being double. They remember the days of not having food to eat, going in bed hungry and that. So use all of those negative things that happen in your life, even if it produces anger. Even if it produces anger and negative emotions, use that as fuel. Because as long as you make it, at the end of the day, that's all that matters. As long as you achieve the goals, who cares about what your desires or what you're doing? As long as you're not committing crimes or hurting people, bro. As long as you're just staying to yourself, it's sort of like, yo, who cares at the end of the day? As long as you make it. But that's the vid for today. I hope you enjoyed. I'm the JT, and I'm out.